Good morning, friends! Have you ever wondered what Pilates instructors do in the morning when we have to wake up really early and it's still dark outside? It might even be cold. What do we do to warm up shoulders, hips, front core, back core, and the spine? Well, here we go. Here's a little example of what I do in the morning while the kettle is boiling. So we'll start in tabletop. We're lifting up the knees and the feet and the hands so we can head around into tabletop where our back is the table. If our kneecaps feel sensitive on the mat or the floor, I like to have a cushion or a block underneath my knees. We separate the knees and feet. The wrists are coming underneath the shoulders and we're lifting up out of the shoulders and hips. Shoulders and ears are drawing away from each other. We're creating a table with our back. So if our table arches or curls, everything will fall off. So we're pulling in the belly button, tightening the rib cage inwards so that the table is long and flat. The spine is lengthening there and the neck is neutral. Meanwhile, level 1 for strengthening the core. I'm moving my shirt so you can see we're pulling our belly button through us to the spine. We're also lifting the pelvic floor muscles to the belly button, and then we relax. So we have a little pull and relax. Belly button pulling in and relaxing. Simultaneously, pelvic floor muscles pulling to the belly button and relaxing. We're going to go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, there's 2, and then number 1, we're keeping everything pulling in and strong. And if you're thinking, and we're just going to hold here, breathing naturally while I chat, if you're thinking this looks way too easy, then you're right. It should look way too easy. That's the principle of Pilates. It should look really easy, but when we're pulling in the belly button, lifting the pelvic floor muscles, we know we're using our effort there. Right now we're warming up, strengthening shoulders, wrists, elbows, spine, hips, and the core, just by being here. When we do those pulls, we're not allowing anything else to happen. We're using strength to keep that position. We continue like that if we prefer or if we have injuries. Otherwise, we're taking it up a little higher. We're lifting up the feet, opening through the toes, flexing at the ankles. So now the toes are opening to the mat. We're floating the knees up away from our mat or our block while we pull the belly button in. Then we float down. Breathing out as we float the knees up, breathing in as we lower. We're going for 10 like this, but if we're going really big here, that's something else. It's a different exercise. It's more difficult to barely float the knees up and barely let them kiss the mat. We go for 10. Belly button in. 9, 8, little tiny lifts. 7, you can do it. Strong shoulders, strong wrists. There's 5, 4, 3, 2. Number 1, we hold. We might push our break away. And now we get to go full movement for the full stretch. Knees float down. We inhale. We exhale into the elephant. We're lengthening the arms, the legs, and the spine. Really similar to down facing dog in yoga. So we inhale when we float the knees above the mat. We exhale when we press. That was 2. We've got 8 more. We inhale. We exhale as we lift, lengthen, and press. We inhale to lower. We exhale to lift. If we need to, we let the knees touch down each time. But if we can, we just keep floating the knees. And they might barely, barely, barely kiss the mat, but ideally they're floating the whole time. We've got this. Strong shoulders. Deep stretch for the hips and hamstrings. We inhale and exhale. Here come our last 3. We inhale, exhale, stretching, lengthening. We inhale to lower. Here's number 2. And number 1, we're holding for a moment there, enjoying that stretch, guiding the rib cage towards the thighs. We inhale to lengthen, we exhale to float the knees down. So we're back to tabletop. We lift up the feet, the tops of the feet and ankles open to the mat. We're sending the hips to the heels. And then we're bending one elbow, other elbow, shoulders and ears drawing away from each other. We're in this little child's pose position, guiding the hips to the heels, the ribs to the thighs. And we might rock a little bit side to side, soothing the shoulders and the hips. So we're warming up. We're going to add on. Whatever we do, please go back to the original tabletop if anything is too much. From here, we're heading out onto our forearms. One arm forward, other arm forward, bending the elbows. The forearms are like a number 11 in front of us, belly button in, and we're starting to walk. We're sending one leg away behind us, opening the toes to the floor. Belly button through us. The knee comes back in. Other leg, we're walking away, opening the back of the knee to the ceiling. We bring the knee in. We're walking along. If the hands start looking for each other like that, it's because it's easier with the hands together. But we try to keep the fingertips pointing straight ahead. So the arms, even the hands, are like a number 11 in front of us. If we'd like to take this up a notch, here we go. One leg out, other leg out. We're squeezing the glutes, lowering the hips down, guiding the elbows under the shoulders, and then heels are sliding forward. Arm back. Keep on squeezing the glutes. And we've got 10. Stretching toes, stretching ankles. There's 8. Belly button in. 7. If in doubt, squeeze the glutes more. Here we've got 5. 4. 3. 2. Number 1, we hold in that forearm plank just for a moment. And then one knee down, other knee down. Heading back into our child's pose. Hips to the heels, rib cage to the thighs, arms reaching. Opening the underarms to the mat and then guiding the forehead down. We might rock a little bit side to side here. So we're getting warmer and stronger, ready for the day. We're heading up again into tabletop. Keep tabletop if you like. Everything can be done here if it needs to be. We'll just use movement at the shoulders and hips instead of the whole legs. Here we go, we're walking again. Checking. Strong shoulders, we're lifting up out of the shoulders. One leg comes back, toes open to the floor, the knee comes in. Other leg, we're walking along into our high plank position. But there's not a lot happening here. It's not wild and crazy. Only one leg is moving each time, so we don't have any other movements happening. Really strong and stable in the rib cage. Walking along, we decide if we like this or if we're heading out into our high plank. One leg out, other leg out, squeezing the glutes, lifting up out of the shoulders. The feet are lower than the hips, which are lower than the shoulders, which are lower than the head. So we don't want any drooping anywhere. We don't want to be drooping or curling. We're up and strong. Here we go. We're sliding the heels forward. Squeeze glutes, we slide the heels back. Strong wrists, strong shoulders. Everything is strong here. And we've got 4. Squeeze glutes. 5. 6. We can do it. 7. 8. 9. Number 10, we press the heels back that little bit more, squeeze the glutes more, lift up out of the shoulders. Really warm, strong diagonal plank, holding it here for a moment. And then our prize is our child's pose. One knee down, other knee down. We lift up the feet so we can open the tops of the feet and ankles to the mat. We head on back. Once we're in child's pose, we'll bend one elbow, bend the other elbow, hands clasped. And we roll through the wrists a little bit each way. We've really warmed up here, so we're reaching forward. We inhale, we exhale, so we can drag the elbows and hands towards us as we tuck and curl through the lower back, the middle back, and the upper back. Checking our posture. Now we're ready to swap around so the knees and feet are in front of us. Feet are on the floor and we're checking our posture. Shoulders are down, the upper back is strong. We reach on forward, there's our spinal extension. Strong spine. We inhale as we lengthen the spine and the arms. We exhale as we tuck and curl into spinal flexion. Hips curl, lower back, middle back, upper back. So we inhale when we lift and lengthen. We exhale when we tuck and curl. And again, nothing really fancy. We reach the arms long in front of us. Mostly we're thinking of pulling in the core and working through the lower back, the middle back, the upper back. We pull in the core and then we lift through the lower back, middle back, and upper back. Great one for warmth and strength throughout. If we wish to change this, we add or take away. Maybe we're adding a big reach for the ceiling. We inhale, we exhale, and we tuck and curl a little bit further back. That could be an option. If these feel uncomfortable in the legs or hips, maybe we're lengthening the legs away. We inhale as we lengthen, we exhale as we tuck and curl. But you can see the legs stay strong and engaged. They're not relaxing, they're not moving in or out. Knees and toes are pointing to the sky as we move. Breathing out, breathing in. I'm going to go back to my preferred position, but please do keep the one that you prefer. We inhale to reach. We exhale as we tuck and curl. Here we go for our last 5. We inhale. Exhale, shoulders away from the ears. Number 4. We tuck and curl. Here's number 3. Breathing in, breathing out. Number 2. And then number 1. We hold for that extra stretch and then we're down. We're meeting on our backs. Would we rather tuck and curl all the way back? Or if we'd rather, it's still early morning, maybe we're taking one hand, other hand to the mat. Then we can bend one elbow, other elbow, belly button in, we're guiding one shoulder, other shoulder, and then the head down. Once we're there, we're hugging one knee and other knee in, little hug and rock to really warm through the lower back and the hips. Now we're thinking about the front core and the back core, which includes and especially is made up of the glutes. Here they are. Here we go. One foot down, other foot down. We're guiding fingertips to the hips, elbows are out like little anchors, knees and feet are apart. We're squeezing the glutes, pulling the lower abs in. It's a tiny hip tilt of the hips towards the rib cage, and then we relax. So we're squeezing glutes, tilting hips, and we relax. Hip bones are tilting to the ribs. Meanwhile, because it's Pilates movements, our thought process, we're really thinking about the ribs. They tighten in, they're tight and strong. So we don't allow any arching or groovy movements like that. The lower back is to the floor, the rib cage tightens and stays tight. The neck and the spine stay long and neutral. We're tucking the chin in. That way we can do our little hip tilts and we're building our way into our bridges. Hands come next to us on the mat, palms down. Tilting hip bones to the rib cage. If we have injuries to the spine, slipped discs, torn discs, osteoarthritis, osteoporosis, or any other spinal injury, it might be better to stay right here. Little bridges. Bridges are built by squeezing the glutes, tilting the hips towards the ribs. Perfectly great low bridges. Great for strength and warmth and mobility. If we want more, we squeeze the glutes more, we tilt the hips more, and then we tilt so much that we're peeling the hips, the lower back, the middle back, the upper back up. Our bridge is up, our hands are down next to us. Then we're lowering the upper back, the middle back, the lower back, the waistband of our trousers, and then the hips down. We continue. We raise the bridge, we squeeze the glutes. We lower the bridge, we're still squeezing the glutes. We could add arms working along with our little mechanical bridge here. So the bridge is up, the hands are down next to the bridge. We lower the bridge, the hands are reaching overhead. And we've got 10. Breathing in, breathing out as we lift. There's 9. There's no hurry here. If you need to go more slowly or more quickly, please do. There's 8. Breathing in, breathing out. 7. There's 6. Breathing in through the nose to fill the lungs. Breathing out through the mouth to empty the lungs for 5. Glutes are squeezing the whole time. There's 4. We can feel the spine peeling up away from the mat. There's 3. We can feel the spine lowering down. 1 vertebrae at a time. There's 2. Our next one, we're holding the bridge up, squeezing the glutes. Teeny tiny pulses of both glutes. So tiny it won't look like much. The less it looks like, the more strength and flexibility we're getting. Strength in the glutes, flexibility at the hip flexors and the quads. Also strength in the core. Lots of places. Here we go. Teeny tiny pulses. We've got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold. And then we're lowering the upper back, the middle back, the lower back, the waistband, and the hips down. We're coming in for our hug. 1 knee in, other knee in, hugging like a little ball so we can rock a little bit side to side and forward and back. From here, we're still thinking about warming up, stretching and strengthening the whole body, getting ready for the day. So we're guiding. I'm going to take the back foot down, 1 foot to the mat, knee pointing to the sky. This other leg, we're hiding behind the thigh, hugging in that little more deeply. Can we get the thigh to touch the rib cage? Doesn't have to. Then we're pushing through the heel and we're pushing the heel to the sky, opening the back of the knee. We bend the knee to hug on in. 3 more. We've got our push and our hug. And there's 2. Number 1, we're holding the push to the sky, opening the back of the knee, and then we wiggle the toes, and we're circling the ankle and the foot 4 times in each direction. We hug on in, and we'll swap legs. Other foot down, other thigh. Can we guide the thigh towards the rib cage? We might roll the shoulders and move the head a little bit to make sure that we're not arching at the neck. We're not on the top of our head. Behind us, we're lengthening the neck and the spine as we hug on in. Here we go. We're pushing through the heel, belly button in, and we're pushing the heel to the sky, opening the back of the knee. We bend the knee as we come on in. 3 more. We have our push and open, and then bend and close the back of the knee. There's 2. Number 1, we hold for that moment, and we start to wiggle the toes, and then we're circling the ankle and the foot a few times in each direction. Then we're bending the knee, hugging on in. Then both feet come to the floor. The feet are flat on the floor and parallel, knees are apart and parallel. Fingertips find the hips, elbows are opening like little anchors. We're guiding the lower abs in, lengthening the neck, lengthening the spine. We're here for a moment. We might travel the fingertips up a little bit or the knuckles so that we can find our rib cage. Getting ready for the day with our Pilates breathing. We inhale through the nose, filling the lungs and the rib cage with air. We exhale through the mouth, completely emptying the lungs and the rib cage. We inhale long and fine. We exhale with energy. A few more like that. Oxygen. Coming on in. Carbon dioxide. Heading on out. Waking up the lungs and the rib cage for energy for the day. When we're ready, we're reaching for the sky. Little hug, little bit of a rock. We might feel a little stretched, strengthened, energized for the day. And we might realize, oh, we need to go and get ready. So we'll do our little tuck and curl on up. Then we're ready to start the day. Please do give yourself a nice little shake out. some jazz hands. Thank you very much for joining me. Give yourself a clap. And here we go. See you again soon. Thanks for joining me.